We're going to talk about period activity pay. There were some questions that came up about supplemental pay, so this is kind of where we'll get into this. So, period activity pay is Workday's process that pays an employee a set amount over a period of time. This is different than the one-time payment, such as a bonus. This happens outside of the formal compensation package, but it can be a part of the hire or add job process, because this is how you pay your contracted employees. Adjunct faculty, student contracts, continuing education, they're all going to be paid via period activity pay. I think there were some people who tried to request compensation changes for adjunct faculty and it didn't let you because they're not paid via a comp package, they're paid via period activity pay, so you can't update it. Period activity pay versus one-time payment. Those were some questions we had earlier. So period activity pay is a distribution of payment that is not a regular salary, aka they do not have a compensation package. It can be in addition to salary for some people. You can be paid only via period activity pay, or you can also have a supplemental payment coming from period activity pay. So you do it. If you're being paid through a one-time payment, it has to be in addition to a salary. So you can't just be paid via one-time payment. Examples of one-time payments are college and department awards, student bonuses, things like that. Just like the faculty and students. To manage period activity pay assignments, or to kind of generate that contract for supplemental activity or activities that somebody is doing in adjunct faculty teaching a course, you'll use the managed period activity pay assignments. You will search for this in the search bar. We're not going to use the related actions this time. So we're going to find that managed period activity pay assignments. We'll select the reason that we're managing this period activity pay assignment. It could be a contract renewal. It could be adjusting a period activity pay that's already taken place. It could be ending one, or you could be adding an additional activity to somebody. An adjunct faculty is now taking on an additional course. Let's pay them for it. Then we'll have this activity column, which is really important because the activity that you select here really drives the rest of the field and how things are calculated in Workday. You're going to select the activity for that person. And then you'll see this comment field here. In every business process in Workday, there's a place for you to add a comment at the end. Usually that's optional. In this process, this comment field is different and it is not optional. Whatever you enter in there is the language that goes into the contract. And we'll take a look at that in a second. So you want to add and specify what activity it is in that comment field. You'll select the start and end date for that activity, and it has to fall within the academic period that you've already specified when you're managing period activity pay. You will select the service hour information. It could be your credit hours, which would go in work hours per week, and then based on the activity you selected, Workday calculates what those service hours really look like. And then you'll enter in a total amount. And then you'll be able to see how much they're being paid and how many payments they'll make. And we'll look at all of that right now. So let's take a look at period activity pay. I'm going to search for managed period activity pay assignments. Again, we're not doing this through the worker profile. We're actually going to search for this task here, and I'm going to select task. I'm going to leave the effective date as today, and then I'm going to search for my employee. And this is an adjunct faculty. I'm going to use Archie Adjunct today, and we're going to add an activity for him. Then I need to select the academic period. So I'm going to select the regular academic year. And these are the dates that I have to stay within. This is the range I have to stay within. And I'll click OK. All right. First, we'll select the reason. You have different categories here in reason. If it's a contract renewal, you're going to select period activity contract renewal. You can adjust period activity pay as well. Today, we're gonna add an additional assignment. So this is a new course that he's teaching or he's a part of, research assistant, whatever it is. This is, we're selecting additional assignment here. Now I need to select my activity. So I'm gonna select adjunct. This is fall and winter. And that's gonna drive what happens in the rest of these fields over here. So it is really important what you select in this activity field. I'm gonna scroll down here and I need to enter in a comment. So this is English 101. Okay. I need to enter the start and end date. This course starts next week and it will go right before the holidays. So I'll select that start and end date. That, again, I have to make sure that these dates fall within this range. Then my work hours per week. My suggested weekly service hours and total service hours for activity period right now are blank. I'm gonna enter 3. This is a 3 credit hour course. When I enter that, this has now been calculated based on the activity that I've selected. So we're assuming that this is about 8 weekly service hours to fulfill a 3 credit hour course for this period. We're gonna leave the quantity alone. Quantity is 1, and it will not let me change that if I tried. The total amount for this course that he's gonna earn is $1,000, so I'm gonna put that into the total amount. I have the ability to do a costing override. So if this course was being paid by multiple cost centers, I could split up the distribution of those payments here and select a couple different cost centers if I needed to do that. I also can take a look at this customize 3 payments button, and this is going to show me when he's being paid and how much he's being paid. So if I don't want them to be 3 equal amounts, I can update the amounts here. So he's paid either more on the front end, maybe it's more on the back end. But what Workday won't let me do is go over this total amount. So if I try to go over, it will hard stop me, or if I try to go under, it has to be this amount. Okay? All right. I'm going to submit our period activity pay here. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to push it all the way through so you can see what the contract that Workday generates based on this information looks like. When you do your activity, you will not be doing that. So you won't see the contract, and we're not going to ask you to proxy in. We won't be able to proxy in as anybody else. I'm going to submit. And we will push this through. Let's share there. That's down. Bye.
I'm trying to stay.
All right, that just routed to the manager and the manager's manager for approval on Archie. And here is the generate adjunct contract. That was with the BYU hiring offices, but Harper is a part of that, so she got it in her inbox. I'm going to select this generate adjunct contract. And I'm going to come over here to review.
Yeah.
And here is the contract that was generated based on what we selected for the managed period activity pay. This is the comment. Remember, I entered in English 101. This is the course to be taught or other assignments. So again, it is important what you put in that comment because that goes into your contract. I'm going to preview it.
Exactly. So like posting a job.
And this takes a second.
At that time it said credit hours, but it wasn't actually
So,
credit anymore.
No, that's actually the service hours, and that's a bug that's being fixed right now because it should not say credit hours, it should say your service hours. All right, so now this is what the contract looks like that's generated based on what we put in for period activity pay. And then this would be sent over to Archie. Yes.
Back speaking of the period activity, you selected that this was to put in a new job or a new contract.
This was an additional assignment.
Additional assignment.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So let's say I have someone and it's not an additional assignment. I'm not changing the course they're doing, but the first time that they were hired just for fall. Now I want to extend that to winter.
Mhm.
But I also want a pay change with the extension to winter.
So you can do a,
Incorporate that, or do I need to do the period pay and then go back and do a separate compensation?
so period activity is separate than compensation, so you would not do a compensation change, you would do a contract renewal, and in that contract, so if the new, what you're paying them for winter was different than what you paid them for fall, you would just update the payment in when you said contract renewal, and it would, once that contract started, it'd start paying them that new amount. If you needed to adjust what had been paid in fall, and then also do winter, you'd need to do two things. You'd have to adjust a period activity pay, so you'd select the adjust category, make that change, and then you do another contract renewal and make the payment there.
Okay.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be a comp change because period activity pay is separate than compensation. All right. Okay, so we are gonna let you guys go ahead and do period activity pay, but after that, we're gonna take a break. So I'm gonna ask this knowledge check question first, then you can do managed period activity pay, and then we will take a break and we will come back here at 10:30. So the question, an adjunct faculty member has just been assigned to an English course for the upcoming spring semester. In order to compensate this employee, what process would I use? Why?
New assignment.
It's a contract employee. It's not gonna be compensation. Period activity pay. All right. So go ahead and complete activity 4.3 in your activity guide, and we will see you back here at 10:30.